everyone, and welcome back to my channel. We are on to part 3 of our colour along, and today I'd like to show you, before we get started, that I went away and finished the rest of the hearts. I decided for the little ones to do a darker outline and fade to the centre. It is very subtle because obviously my darkest pink was not super dark, but I think it works really well. I like the subtleness, as the big hearts stand out quite well having the dark on one edge. I also went with the mirror image, so on this side it is on the right hand side of the heart, and on this side it is on the left. And then following on from this heart up at the top here, this has the darker side on the right hand side of the heart, and this one on the left. So in this video I am hopefully going to try to show you how to do the majority, if not the rest, of the picture that has a marker base. And we are going to start off by doing the gold and the green in the background. So I shall zoom in for you, and we will do it on this side here. There we go, that is it all in frame. So we will do the green and then we'll do the gold, because there are a lot more steps to the gold. For the green I have chosen 3 colours. Again, I will put all of the colours I've used in the description of the video, but I am going to use Sap Green Light in PC120, Light Green in PC920, and Grey Green Light in PC289. And I'm going to start off with the Sap Green Light. And we are basically going to follow Kelly's drawing for where I'm going to put the darker bits, and it is going to be in the corners and from mainly the filigree. So I'll just get diving right in there. I'm going to do what I normally do and start off with a fairly, not very hard pressure, but a fairly hard pressure, and just fade out into nothing basically. And I will do that from all sides. In some parts of this we're not going to see very much of the lighter shade I have chosen, as the areas are quite small in comparison to when we did the center of the heart section. But that's alright, we'll just see how we go. I hope everyone else's pictures are coming along great. Again, I do have a Facebook page now, also by the name of Honour Your Crafts, where I would love to see your finished pages or how your pages are coming along. It doesn't just have to be for this colour along, it could be anything you're doing at the moment. After all, the website or Facebook page is called Honour Your Crafts, so if you're not doing colouring and you're doing something else, I'd love to know what that something else is. As well as colouring, I also like to do 5D painting. I do dabble in knitting now and again, but I'm not very good at it. I can do your basic stitch, knit and purl, but I'm sure with time I'll learn to do other things. But at the moment my best thing to do is making a blanket. Nothing too spectacular there. I also like to make cards, although I haven't made any recently. I think my last cards that I made were last Christmas, not Christmas just gone, but the one before. I made my own Christmas cards. I am, however, going to try and make the time to make more of my own cards this year, and not just for Christmas but for people's birthdays and the like. I have tried crocheting before, but I for some reason just could not get the hang of it, but that does not mean that I won't try again, because I'm always up for a challenge. So I'll definitely give that a go. I go to a club on a Friday, which is a knit and natter club, but I do take my colouring with me rather than my knitting, because I do seem to get more done when I'm colouring rather than knitting. I find when I'm knitting I can't really do the natter part because I'm too busy concentrating on what I'm doing. Otherwise I'd end up having a blanket which is just full of holes. But with everything else, with a bit of practice, I'm sure one day I will be able to knitter and natter all at the same time. So yes, let me know in the comments or over on my Facebook page what other crafts you do. And please share some of your completed works or something you're working on at the moment. I also, in my spare time, or most of the time when I'm not colouring, like to read. In fact, I love reading. I take my book wherever I go, just in case I have that one opportunity where I can sit down and even just read one more page in my book. I've already read 3 books this year, which is a bit of a record for me. Don't tend to read books very fast. Don't tend to do many things very fast, to be honest. Just have my own pace and they'll get done when they're done. I also like to play games on my computer. I do have a PlayStation 4 and we do have an Xbox One in-house, but they recently have been put on the back burner and we tend to play on our PCs a lot more. If anyone's heard of it, my main game for my PC is World of Warcraft. I enjoy playing it a lot. I have a few characters, but my main character is a shaman, which is a female orc. And I like playing WoW, but I would definitely not say I am the best player in the world. But I don't play it for the tactics or anything like that. I play it for fun, so if I don't press the right buttons in the right order, it does not bother me one bit. So next I am picking up my light green in PC920, and we are just going over what we have already done in the Sap Green Light, and again just very slightly, not too much because we don't want to take over the rest of the shape, fading it very lightly into the center. And we will do that in all of the shapes we've already been over. So in this shape here, there wasn't very much left in the center of that one to begin with, so that has been shaded over the whole shape. If anybody has any questions they would like to ask me, any requests for videos, I do also have an email address which is honoryourcrafts@gmail.com. which I can get back to you via those. So it is nearly Valentine's Day, everybody. Today is the 13th of February. So yes, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Is anybody doing anything for Valentine's Day? Are you going out? Do you have that special someone you're sending a card or a gift to? I am not going out for Valentine's Day itself because unfortunately my better half is working. However, when the drama of Valentine's Day is over and places are less busy, we are going out for a meal to celebrate then. Just somewhere nice and quiet. And there we go. And the last shape there. There you go. And then just coming in with your last colour there, which is the Grey Green Light in PC289. I'm just gonna go around the edge of both of the colours there. You don't need to go right into the centre because you have your base colour from the markers, which for this particular section we used in the Le Mouche pens was the Cool Shadow, and that was in 178. So again, I have not used colours where the darkest shade stands out greatly, but you can see the gradient between the colours I have used. very subtle, which I think works really well for the effect I'm trying to get of the pastel tones. You don't really want deep or bright colours. Is anybody watching anything lately? A TV series or a film you would recommend? I started recently watching the Punisher series on Netflix. I've watched 2 episodes so far. But I only tend to watch them when I go to bed. So I don't get many watched because lying in bed makes me tired. Even though I'm already tired to begin with, it doesn't help. And there we go. So that is the green background done. I think I'll just go quickly back in with my darkest shade and just literally do a line around the whole outside of the shape. Don't press too hard or your line will stand out too much and you will have to blend it back in again. Which you don't really want to start doing again, because you will end up with the same effect as you had before you started, and it is also time consuming, which is something we all don't need when we have so many pictures we want to colour in. What's the weather like where you live? Today, where I live, it is extremely windy. Took little Frank out earlier on and he could hardly breathe, bless him. There we go, so that is the green section done. So whilst we're on this side, I am going to do the gold. And I have a few colours to do this, but first of all I'm going to go in with chocolate in PC1082, and this gold is not a bright gold, it is quite an antique gold, so it is going to look quite dark, and this is the effect I wanted. I wanted something deep and dark on the picture so that the pastel shades do stand out a bit more. And I'm going to show you on the filigree the gold that I'm going to use, and then for the rest of the picture that will be done in your own time, because like with the hearts, if I do the whole thing, the video is going to run far too long and you're just going to be seeing the same thing over and over again 4 times. So again, we're going to use the shading that Kelly has put on, and we are going to go in with our chocolate, and we're going to keep a light hand. We do not want to press hard at all, because this is all about layers, and you're just going to bring that out and fade it as much as you can. This bit here is not, there isn't much to it, So again, we're going to press light and fade that bit out. That bit there will probably not have as many layers on it because it doesn't fade out into a lighter area. And then again with this bit, fade it out. And with this side, again, fade it out, but leave a gap in the middle of the two sections. This bit I'm going to start off with the chocolate here, and it will fade out into the lighter part here so that it stands out from the bit underneath. Apart from this section here, I will just add a little bit here. This one will start here and fade out and fade out again. All about fading out and layers and a very light hand. So here, have that there, and then again there. I don't know if it picks it up in the camera, but Frank is asleep under my legs and under my desk, and he is snoring right now, which for me being above him and in the same room is fairly loud. I think today's walk this morning has knocked him for 6 with the wind, and we will just add a little bit here. So on to our next colour, which I have chosen is TerraCotta, and that is PC944. And very lightly again, we're just going to go over the chocolate that we did. Very, very lightly, and even lighter still, fading that out. Do this on all sections. We will come back towards the end when we have a layer down of all of the colours we've used to add in a bit more definition with these colours again. I chose a dirty gold or an antique gold because I didn't really want a bright yellow gold on the page. Although I think it would have looked alright, I just didn't want bright colours themselves as part of the finished piece. It wasn't really what I was looking for when I envisaged the whole picture finished. I noticed today as well, when I finished a different picture which has now been posted up on my Facebook, that I have used these pastel colours on quite a few of my pages over the last 2 months. There we go. Next I have the colour Mineral Orange, and that is in PC1033. Again, go over everything you've just done and fade it out a little bit further than the last. This bottom section here is now covered over, but that's alright because that is behind another part of the filigree pattern, so it wouldn't have necessarily the lightest shade showing for a highlight anyways. Again, with this under section here, that part is now done, leading it into that part there. Again, with most of that part. You'll get joined up into that section there. There we go. Next I have Goldenrod in PC1034, and again we are just going to go over what we've already done, joining up these sections here, but only just slightly. And then we have Cream in PC914, and you want to blend that out at the ends. You can go back over just slightly. You don't really want to go over everything with this because then it's just going to make everything look muddy, which is not what we want. You really just want to go back over the Goldenrod and the Mineral Orange to try and drag them colours out and blending them in. There we go, that's those done. And then I'm going to go in with dark brown in PC946, and this time we are just trying to get those shadowy areas a bit darker. So we don't want to go over everything we've done here, because if you were to do that, you would be cancelling out the orange undertones that we've put in, and we certainly don't want to do that because then it won't look like gold. You need some sort of orange or yellow added to make it the gold tones. This colour combo could also be used if you were looking for a brass type of colour or a copper colour. I would add in a bronze pencil if I was going to do that, and then I'm just going to take my black and very lightly in these more darker sections go over the top again. You don't want to press too hard here because you don't actually want these sections to look black. You just want them to be a little bit darker so that you can see the difference that these are behind. And nothing more. And then our last colour, we are going to add is white, and that is just to go again over these sections here, just adding a slight highlight to these bits. I'm going to go back in with my mineral orange and just fade that bit out a little bit more from the dark sections. And then it just gets rid of that scratchy look on the page also, which I'm not overly keen on having. And then with our goldenrod, just to fade that out to the paler sections again. And we'll just grab the cream again once we've done this, just to blend those edges out. And our cream. Just to make sure those edges aren't just from one colour to the next, and that they actually blend together. There we go. And that is what I will be doing on the rest of the filigree sections. For the hearts, the bigger hearts are a lot easier, especially these ones, because this one, as you can see here, you have a starting point. So again, use this starting point and just start lightly but fade out even lighter. Go both ways on this one, because you are going to do the outline of the centerpiece in the gold as well. Was the chocolate, and I'm using the terracotta again now. Again, go over everything you've just done, very lightly and fade out. Depending on where you want your highlight to be, depends on where you drag out the colour to. For the round area, I'm going to have my lighter section in the centre here where the heart is from the filigree. I'm going back in with our mineral orange, again just going over what you've just done. Very lightly, and bringing it down, and the same again for this section. And you're going to go in with your goldenrod. And just drag it out slightly again. As you can see, for the heart, I am aiming to bring the lighter section down at the bottom here. I'll just move that up slightly so you can see. Yes, so I will bring that down to there. Then get your cream again and just blend that out so that the colour spreads. And the same here. I think what I'll do for these hearts is have the darker at the top and the light towards the bottom, so it stays with the lighter section on the border of the centerpiece. You're then going to get your dark brown again, and from this section you're just going to do a small amount where you drag the colour out, so that defines that section as to being a shadow. And again with your black, very lightly do the smallest section in the lightest pressure that you can do, because again you don't want this to be black itself, just making it darker. And then get your white again and just make sure that at the very end here and the center piece up here is as light as you can make it. So I'm going to leave the gold for now. The rest of the picture for the gold can be done in exactly the same way. I'm now going to move up to the moon, and I'll just adjust my lighting so that we can see it a bit better. There we go. And for this, because we used CG 0.5, which is the lightest cool grey in the Lumouche markers, I have pulled out all of my cool grey Prismacolor pencils. It's not to say that I'll use all of them for the moon, especially the 90% grey, but I have them out ready anyways. And again, I'm going to start with a fairly dark one. I think I'll start with 50% grey, and that means that if I need to, I can go in darker, but I do need to start with a dark grey to begin with. So cool grey 50% is PC1063, and to begin with I'm going to go under his eye, and like with all of the other sections I'm going to start off with a fairly heavy pressure, not really heavy, and I'm just going to fade that out. So that gives a slight shadow under his eye there. And we're going to do the same on the top of his eye here, because this is his eyelid. So we're going to use what Kelly has gave us as a guide and fade that out as well. And the same at the front of the eye here, we are going to do just a small amount and fade that out also, and up the top here. I'm going to do the same with his eyebrow. I'm going to give just a slight shadow underneath his eyebrow, nothing too big, because obviously your eyebrows do not stand off your face massively. They are pretty flush. And then I'm going to do the same with the edge of his nose here. Just give it that slight shadow, because we don't want too much. And you have to imagine that his nose does come around here as well, so I'm just going to give it that light touch just there. And then again with his mouth, using the same pressure, just give him the slight shadow under his mouth and this part here. And then we have his cheek, which with some people they do add and they don't add shadows. I'm going to imagine that his cheek is slightly raised because he is smiling slightly, so I'm going to give him a slight shadow on this side of his cheek. Like so. And then we have the craters of the moon. We have little ones at this side. I'm not sure if it picks it up in the camera, but I'm just literally going to give that just a shadow, nothing too big, especially with these ones because they are fairly small and hardly noticeable. So there's just a few there. And then we have bigger ones here. And on these ones, I'm going to put the shadow just slightly on this edge, but also I'm going on the inside and doing the same, so that you can see that it is a hole. Same with this one, just a slight shadow on this side, and then on the inside as well. This one, we have this part here, which I will add a shadow to, because we have the guide to say that that would be a good place to put a shadow. And then I'm going to do the same again on the inside and the outside on this edge. then we have the ones on this side. You can just see a crater here, so I am going to just add the shadow because it looks a fairly big one. I'm going to add the shadow all the way around the edge of this one. If it was a full circle on the page, I would again just do it on one side, but I think because it's only just showing on the moon, we'll do it around the whole edge of that one. And just a little bit on the inside there. This one again, shadow on the inside, shadow on the outside, but only on one side of it. Do a little bit of a shadow there because that must be the base of the crater, with it being quite a big one. And we'll do the same there and there. And then we have some little ones here. Add the inside to this one, but there are 3 here that I am just going to put a slight shadow on the outside because they are barely noticeable. Then I am going to get my next shade, which I am going to use the 20% Cool Grey, which is PC1060. And we're just going to slightly go over what we've just done, just so that the shadow is there, but the edges are blended out into the moon. For the moon, I'm not going to colour him in fully because obviously we do have the base layer, which I think is a brilliant colour already for the moon. So we are really just adding the shadows to him so that he is not just flat. We're going over the shadows we've done around his eye as well. Making sure we have no harsh edges. It's a good job the moon is grey, otherwise he would look very tired with these bags under his eyes. There we go. And around his cheek again. I am using the side of my pencil because I am doing a bigger section. I'm not doing fine details, and it helps to make it look more smoother on the page with a better lay down. I'll just fade that bit out there. Around his nose. And then under his mouth. And then around these craters at the bottom here. It just makes everything look a little bit smoother. And then I'm going to go in with my 10% Cool Grey, and that is PC1059, and again we're just gonna very lightly go around all of the edges of the shading we've done. This again is just to make sure that we have no harsh edges and everything blends in well. And it really does make a difference just even doing this slight adjustment on top of the markers, as it means that Mr. Moon here has a little bit of definition. Not a lot, but enough just to see the difference. There we go, there is Mr. Moon. And just to finish Mr. Moon off, I have some colours here to finish his eye. I have Blue Lake in PC1102, Light Cerulean Blue in PC904, and Blue Slate in PC1024. And for this I'm going to start with Blue Lake, and I'm just going to go into the corner here and bring that down, and then I'm also going to outline the eye itself in this darker shade. Then I'm going to get my light cerulean blue and just go around the edges of that so they're not so sharp, and then finish in with my blue slate. I'm just going to add some flecks into the eye there, and then I'm going to get my black, because we do need a slightly darker colour, and I'm going to add some more flecks just so that they are more noticeable, and then very lightly do the edge of his eye and put in his eyelashes again, because we went over them slightly with the grey and they have washed out. There we go, and that is Mr. Moon done. I think actually I'll go in with my 90%, and on these bigger craters I am just going to very lightly, just on the very edge on the inside, go over just slightly where we put that shadow, just so that it does have a clear definition as to where the inside of the crater is. There we go, so that is Mr. Moon complete. And I think that will be all for this video. Like I said, we will go away in our own time and complete the gold. I hope you like everything I've done in this video, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks everyone, bye!